how many of us have seen or even imagined this scene? There, in a little nest on the ground, is a dinosaur egg. Large, round, with an inexplicably hard shell, it lays there, menacingly. You try to gingerly walk around it, knowing that at any moment there could be a dangerous man-eating machine popping out of there. Oh, there we go. Crack! The sound of the egg hatching echoes across the room. The large fracture on the egg slowly splits into smaller and smaller fractures until out pops a little velociraptor still covered in its own embryonic loop. It shakes its tail vigorously, staring you down while you try to slowly inch away. Ultimately, you fail as the velociraptor proceeds to eat you whole. Now, that's a scene we're all quite familiar with, a Hollywood trope at this point. But there's so much scientifically and even theologically wrong about this one scene, but let me clear it up for you. Here's the evolutionary point of view, in but a nutshell. It starts quite simply with the bird. And from this little birdie that exists, they attempt to derive its origins. Here then comes the fork in the road. Does God, or does God not, play a role in the origin of this bird? Evolutionists wholeheartedly deny the existence of the one true God, and thus they must discover another means by which this bird came to be. So then comes the dinosaurs, which bear great resemblance to the birds, or so they think. They find supposed evidences of similar bone structures, body shapes, and even feathers, which they then use to connect these two creatures together. They even look at the fossilized eggs of the dinosaurs, which bear the same qualities of bird eggs, just bigger and a little nastier. So once you have these two ends, now enters in the theory of evolution, which states that through the process of adaptation and mutation, some creatures grow and develop into entirely new kinds of creatures. So, in between these two creatures, the dinosaur and the bird, they attempt to squeeze in creatures that fit the bill to show a transition of sorts from beginning to end. However, and this perhaps is the biggest however of all, the entire argument is hinged upon the connection that there are enough similarities between the bird and the dinosaur to say that a relation can be made. But as science progresses, as more and more evidence is found, the results, astonishingly, at least to them, show that these two kinds of creatures are far more different than we could have originally thought. Back to our story, we often imagine a close connection between dinosaurs and birds because our entertainment paints the picture for us. Even in the scene that I shared at the beginning, the whole depiction was a mess, and I'm not just talking about my theatrical writing. Recent discoveries in the past 2 decades have shown that some dinosaurs do not lay these large, white, hard-shelled eggs as we have seen. Rather, they actually lay soft-shelled eggs that are soft and squishy and absolute jiggly wigglies. Evolutionists attempt to explain away this phenomenon by describing soft-shelled eggs as an early feature for dinosaurs on their supposed evolutionary timeline. They say that hard-shelled eggs are clearly better, since they provide greater protection, and that is why birds nowadays lay hard-shelled eggs. But they ignore the creativity, the wisdom, and the consistency of God's design. These shells were wonderfully and beautifully made in their own right, created to fulfill their grand and specific purpose of housing little dinosaur babies. Let's take the creationist perspective for just a moment. Whether birds or dinosaurs, God had created each to their own kind. In fact, according to Genesis 1, birds were created to fill the skies on the 5th day of creation, whereas dinosaurs and all the beasts of the earth came to be afterwards, on the 6th day. Whether hard-shelled or soft-shelled, God had determined what would best suit each of his creatures. We need not fear new discoveries as evolutionists do, for God is consistent with his own design. There are no changes nor any conflicting information. To each his own, and all that it owns is all that is. Let us marvel then at such clear consistency. That which God intended surely comes to fruition in total unity, harmony, and cohesion. That's all we have time for today, but we hope that the dinosaur eggs can cause you to really be in awe of our amazing God, because creation is cool, but our Creator is even cooler. We'll see you next time.